I stumbled upon a fair share of good news recently. I opened my Twitter DMs and I saw that someone told me the fact there's a small team of developers working on bringing back one of the deadest dead BR games that's been released in recent times called Rumbleverse, the battle royale that's just centered around wrestling. So Rumbleverse released back all the way in 2022 and it was published by Epic Games, so you kind of just expected this game to go places. People were expecting this game to just pop off because, you know, it was being published by Epic Games, of course. And it was supposed to be a banger of a video game, but it ended up being one of the biggest flops you'd ever seen, with the game being shut down in February of the following year, so the game had a total lifespan of less than 6 months. Now, nobody really knows the exact reason why Rumbleverse shut down. People think it was probably because of marketing, or the gameplay, or the player base didn't like it. Nobody knows. In my opinion, I think that there's not that many crossover between people who are Battle Royale fans and wrestling fans, so you bring that together, and it's just like, the niche is just too niche. But you have to commend them for trying something so drastically different from the traditional, you know, shooter battle royales of just completely dominating the market lately, right? It's just like every single battle royale that's released these days, it just has to be a shooter, because if it's not, then it just flops. With the only exception being Naraka Blade Point. That one's just an outlier. It's just wildly popular despite having little to no shooting in it. Going over some of the reasons as to why people thought the game shut down in the first place. Some people were saying not enough marketing, so the player base wasn't there. There was plenty of marketing, but the core gameplay was horrid. And they were saying that the game was too gimmicky, like there was too many stun lock combos and too many ways for you to get repeatedly grappled and thrown around. I don't know too much about the stun locks in the game because I didn't play it that much, but I just know that the times that I did play it, it was fun, right? Because you had the rock, paper, scissors element. You had grapples, you had attacks, and then you had blocks. But some of the grapples, they were ridiculous, man. It's because it is a grappling battle royale, there was a lot of favoritism towards like command grabs, and some of these grabs, honestly, once you're caught, you're dead. You're absolutely dead. Some of them just did way too much damage, especially if you had like the weird superstar power up that was like, hey, if you got that, I have to run away and not get touched by you, because if not, I'm dead. So some of the times the combat system felt really fair, and you know, it's just like you died and you're like, you know what, I deserve that. You outplayed me. But other times, I would say most of the times, you were just like, how did I fall for that? What's up? Why does that do so much damage? What the hell's going on here? Maybe it's just me. Maybe I was just a casual that never got into like the deep dive of like the complex combat systems in the game, or maybe there was just no complex combat systems to begin with. The game, based off the color palette and just how funny and like janky the game looks visually, you would assume that it was a game that's not meant to be taken seriously, right? So it's not like they were trying to develop a esports competitive meta around it. They were just like, hey, let's just put funny stuff here. And you know, funny stuff is fun, but it's not competitive, and battle royale is a genre that heavily leans towards competitive. So maybe that's one of the reasons why the game just could not hold a player base long term, because people, like especially myself, I would just get into the game, play a couple games, I'd be like, oh, that's funny, man, hell yeah. It was just more of a game that you just get into the game, play a couple games, you're done, go play something else. So the group of people that are dedicated to bringing back Rumbleverse is called ProjectKO. They have their own YouTube channel, so they have a couple of videos showcasing the development process and how it's going to bringing back this very, very dead game, from just the ability to spawn bots to online connectivity tests, which is really important, you know, being able to play with other players, to just, you know, being able to work with the game in general, right? And it's actually really funny because for some reason they just cannot get the skins to work. So in all their dev plays testing, all the characters are just running around naked. It's honestly just really funny to see. Except in the one where it's a duos test, where they somehow managed to do the inverse. Instead of getting the characters clothes, they just got rid of the characters, and now that it's just the clothes that are just running around fighting. Honestly, it's just part of the development process that for you as a developer, you're probably like, damn, why can't I get this to work? But me as a spectator, I'm looking at this and I'm like, damn, that's just funny. That's just really funny to look at, man. So I wanted to check out how the community of this dead game is, and when I joined the Discord server, I was honestly surprised to see how many people are actually active on it, you know? I thought this was just going to be a forgotten project that some people are working on and people would just kind of just glance over, but there's actually a lot of people that are very dedicated to this game, and they're very excited to see all the progress that the developers are making. Remember guys, that this is a fan-made revival. Iron Galaxy Studios and Epic Games, they're not behind this at all, so this is all fan-made. And because it is fan-made, they don't really own the trademarks or copyrights to the works, so they're not really asking for money. You know, they're just like, hey, we're working on this, don't give us money, and we're not gonna ask for money. Because when it comes to the revival of these dead projects, because they're not really your assets, they belong to someone else, you can't really go around selling this stuff. You can't really go around asking for money when it comes to all of this. So revival projects like Toontown Rewritten, or like New Club Penguin, or like the Fusion Fall remake, all of that is just, you can't ask for money, right? So you can't really expect them to work on this like if it was a full-time job. They're just doing this out of the passion and love that they have for reviving the game. And honestly, I think that's pretty cash money, because I'm a really big fan of preservation of video games. And you know, when it comes to live service games, once they shut down, it's not like you can just go to the GameStop and buy a physical copy of the game. Once the game shuts down, it's dead, it's gone forever, and it's just wiped clean from the internet. So when you have projects like this that focus on wanting to keep that and keep the memory alive, I'm honestly all for it. I'm really happy about it. You know, I'm actually really excited to see how well they can keep working on the game to sort of like be able to bring it back to like a stable version that people can download and play and then just connect with their friends. Kind of like how Spellbreak did. Before Spellbreak shut down, they just gave you literally everything and like, here's the game, do what you want with it, good luck. So if ProjectKO manages to do something similar to that, that would be awesome. Especially if they manage to do something like Toontown Rewritten, where you can just log in and just automatically play with other players, so you don't have to go through the process of having to host your own servers and then just invite your friends over. If they somehow manage to do something where you can just queue up and fight against other players without having to do your own stuff, that would be amazing. And honestly, I would be more than inclined. I would be super excited to go check that out. This sort of stuff makes me happy, dude. I'm just ecstatic, honestly. I really am. I don't really think that they're trying to bring back the whole community, because there was no community in the first place. That's the reason why the game shut down, you know? But just the fact that they're trying to like bring back this niche little thing and just give it to us is cool. And if there's any other dead game that's out there that's currently being worked on and people are trying to bring it back, leave a comment down below. I really appreciate it. I would love to know what exactly is being, you know, preserved or people are trying to work on, and maybe I'll just go and check it out myself and give them a shot and try having fun with it as well, because that's, at the end of the day, that's what video games are about, right? You just want to play them and have fun. And I just want to be able to just think back, remember a game, and just be like, oh, Mega Man X. Oh, I want to play Mega Man X. I'll just boot it up. Or like, oh, Pokemon Red. You know, those are the games you can just access whenever. But when it comes to like these live service games, I can't really access them if they're dead. So the fact that these people are bringing them back, pretty cool. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Rumbleverse, kind of cool that they're bringing it back, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.